Okay, today I want to take a minute and talk about the problem with trying to find schema errors. So this was Mark. I'm in the book of Luke. So I I'm looking at this, and one thing, schema errors typically show a list of 50 items. I don't know why that is, and this may get fixed in a later version of Paratext, but for right now, this is the kind of thing you see. And so I'm going to hold Shift while I click on Run Basic Checks. I hold Shift, Run Basic Checks, and I'm just going to run the schema check for the book of Luke. And when I run the schema check, I get a bunch of errors. Okay. And one of the things that I need to do before I actually try to track this down, because sometimes this is hard to find, is I need to just run the chapter verse and marker check. Actually, marker check is where the issues are typically found, because these are issues with the way the markers are formatted. So I'm going to run markers check. And in this case, when I do that, I see that there is a unknown marker. So I'll go to that place, and somehow Q1 got tagged onto that B. So we're going to fix it, and we're going to rerun. So now there are no marker errors in my text. So let's go back and hold Shift and click Run Basic Checks. And in this case, I'm not going to undo those two, but I'm going to include schema and OK. And now I have no errors there. Okay, so in that case, the schema check errors were related to the fact that there was clearly a marker. So always run the marker checks before you run schema. And let's go to the book of Mark. Let's take a look here. So what I just said, I always want to run the marker check first. So I'm running the marker check on Mark, and great, I got no errors. Now let's hold Shift and run basic checks. And when I do that, include the schema. Now all of a sudden I've got errors, okay, and it's saying 3.1, 3.2. Okay, so where is the error? Typically, the way the schema check runs is it always shows the first verse of the chapter, wherever the error is, and then often the next place the error occurs is going to be the verse. And you can see, especially when it's really close together here, this 3.2 is likely the issue. So I'm going to go to 3.2, and one of the things I notice in 3.2 is there's a footnote. Footnotes are often the most likely place for there to be a schema error. And the error that often occurs is the fact that there is a character style. In this case, TL is a character style, and that character style is inside of a footnote. It's nested inside, and when you nest a character style, you need to use the plus signs in front of that style. So it needs to be TL or plus TL and plus TL asterisk. This is called nesting, and in the footnote, this has to happen. If I had just a TL up in the text, that would be okay, as long as it's not inside of another character style. But if it's inside, it has to be nested, and so let's save it, and let's rerun. When I rerun, and this is running the schema check, now there are no errors. So fixing that took care of that issue. Let's go look at one more. So I'm here, and I'm going to run the basic checks, markers, chapters. It reports no errors. So I'm going to run the schema check by holding Shift, schema, John, run, and now I get errors. Now this time it's showing 6.1 for a lot of things. So that makes it look like the error is in 6.1. So I'm going to go to 6.1, and I don't see any footnote in 6.1. I don't see any nested any character styles up here. This is a really tricky one, and I'm going to just scroll up just a little bit, and I see that in the chapter number, somehow a text got included, a 6 got included here. Delete that. This is really hard to track down sometimes, but this is something that will show up, and so I'm going to save it. I'm going to rerun, and that will take care of the error. So again, just to show how this happens, if I come down here to the name to Dios, which is a name of deity, if I put the ND markers on that, okay, this is a character style. I have not nested it. When I rerun the check, then it goes out and it tells me that there are errors. And notice that the 6.1 shows up, but rather quickly 6.14 shows up, and that's where most of the issues are. So I'm going to click 6.14. It takes me to this place. I see there's a footnote. I say, oh yes, this needs to be nested with the plus signs. I save the text, I rerun, and the schema error is fixed. So hopefully that helps in trying to track down some of the schema errors. Most of the time, you're going to find them in either bad markers or footnotes. You should never have bad markers because you should always have run the marker check before you run the schema check. The other place that it can happen is if sometimes if there's something following the chapter number accidentally got there. If I run this, then I should end up with a schema error because of that. And you'll notice in this case, the 6.1 is the big number. Lots of entries in 6.1, and so I want to go look there. Nothing really in the text shows me that was the issue. It's not like I can read here and it says test someplace. It does say unexpected characters, but it's very hard to track that down other than just kind of look at it and solve it.